I want to talk about repeat offenders, criminal repeat offenders. And the simple definition are citizens turned into criminal who continues to get caught violating the laws. Most continue to commit the same type of crime even though they continue to get caught doing it. There are two categories of repeat offenders: those who commit property crimes and those who commit crimes against persons. Of course, the latter is the worst of the two. Despite negative public comments casting blame on our justice system, such as he was only able to commit the recent string of crimes because the system keeps giving him probation or parole, or because the whole system, that in itself is a failure, or going to jail is like going to the Bahamas for 5 years. We need to be more mindful and careful when trying to assign blame as to why these criminals are in society and not confined in a jail or prison somewhere. In fact, it's a bad idea for law enforcement to blame anyone without starting with itself. Law enforcement actually contributes to some extent to the very problem we complain about as we voluntarily make deals with criminals through the solicitor. These deals are known as plea bargains or negotiated pleas. Not saying there's anything wrong with this practice. It is how the system works to some extent. However, I do in fact have a problem with casting blame elsewhere when a criminal that law enforcement has voluntarily made a deal with becomes a problem later. And secondly, many of our friends and family work in the court and judicial system, and they are doing the best they can every day, and they're as proud of what they do as law enforcement is of what we do. So we need to be a little more mindful of casting blame in this case. And most importantly, if this group we know as repeat offenders are not in jail or prison and are living in our communities, no matter the reason, they are law enforcement's responsibility to track and deal with. Many of these so-called repeat offenders spend a significant amount of their lives on probation, which is where a smart deputy with a plan, and while working with probation and parole, can monitor and somewhat control their activity. We know who they are, where they live, and we can actually have a lot of control over them if we choose to take advantage of it. It does require, however, that we are properly staffed at the sheriff's office, and as we all know, that is another problem for another discussion. Several years ago, myself, several other region commanders, and investigators designed a program that we named Operation Repeat Offender. The details of the program helped us to identify, monitor, and even arrest criminals committing crimes in our regions. We developed these techniques into a class that we use to teach local law enforcement areas and recruiting their help with controlling this group of our community's undesirable members. After the region command concept failed to work out due to poor leadership, the lack of resources, and a desperately needed restructure, many great programs fell by the wayside. Operation Repeat Offender was included with that, and therefore accountability for the county's repeat criminals slowed or even stopped. Once in office, I will revisit this valuable tool once used to control this pesky group of criminals. Thank you for following my campaign, and I need your vote on November the 8th.